kids, welcome back to ROTOTALK.
Bam! Hey kids, welcome back. Happy Thursday night. How'd you like that intro? Is that cool or what? I had my buddy Nay down in Arizona. He does the, he's a graphic artist guy, in case you didn't notice. And he came up with this idea. He said, you know, we need to come up with an intro for Rotorants. And like I said in my last video, my last rant video, I was in the car and I had a hat cam on. And I'm like, yeah, we need to call it something different. So we call it ROTOTALK or whatever the fuck it is. And I was in a bad mood the other day, and he shoots me a message and he goes, what are you going to call this new thing? You know, it's not a new thing. It's just a new name. And I said, I don't fucking care. It's ROTOTALK, whatever. Or I think he came up with it, actually. I don't even think it was me. Yeah, so that was that. But it's been a good week, full week. You guys might have seen the boat video. Hopefully Blackhawk and I are going to get out there Saturday. I'm waiting on the batteries for the boat. I haven't even run a damn thing yet. The JJ Roto boat, you know, the project. Sorry about that. I keep getting interrupted. Anyway, the Roto boat is right over there, and worked a lot on the finish for that. And it's getting there. I'm hoping to have the finish done by this weekend. It's been taking me a while. But anyway, the boat thing is coming along great. I'll have it done just in time for the snow, and that'll be a complete pain in the ass. But it was funny. The new boat came on the day that my wife and two daughters, my daughters are 5 and 2, and my wife is my wife. And we took a day and we went down to the local lake, which is like an hour and a half away, right? And so we're driving, and the 2-year-old's yelling at the 5-year-old not to fucking sing, and my wife's yelling at them not to do whatever, and I'm just shaking my head and wishing I had a drink, you know. And as you guys may or may not know, I drive a lot for my work, right? And it's not unusual for me to drive 8 hours in a day and still be home by 5 o'clock. I do that all the time. And my wife says to me in the car, my wife's as sweet as the day is long, but the children are definitely testing her lately. And she's like, I don't know how you do drives by yourself for 8 hours in a day. It just drive me insane. I go, driving by myself for 8 hours is less time in my head than driving with you 3 chicks for 1. I mean, just blows my mind. I love them dearly, but fucking hell. Anyhow. So, oh yeah, I just snorted, and that reminds me, I want to send a big fat fuck you to this guy that said, I can't remember who he is, he said I was a disgusting individual or something of that nature because I sniff like that during my videos. And so a big pile of JJ goo to you. Yeah, so fucking what, dude? It's called an allergy or something. Get over it. You know, it's like he really, called me all these things just because, you need to blow your nose, and sorry I'm treating you like a little kid like your mother should have. I'm like, what the fuck is this? That's what bothers you? Really? The fact that I do that once in a while? All right, well, it's not like I have snot running down my nose. It's just one of those things. Hey, fucking people. Anyhow, as you guys may have seen by the title, there is going to be a political thing in this video today. There's going to be some useful stuff, hopefully, but at the end, I'm saving the politics for the end. Because a lot of people want to watch hobby stuff, RC stuff. They do not want to fucking bother with politics. So for those of you that are like that, please turn that shit off before it gets to the politics, and don't bitch at me for it. If you choose to watch it, here's your warning. If you choose to watch it, don't bitch at me about it. He's like, oh, JJ put politics in his fucking... Yeah, screw it. That's why I'm putting it at the end. This is a rant, okay? So, we'll get to that later. So somebody had asked me this week on the channel, it's like, do you have a link to all the tapes that you use? Is in, I don't use electrical tape, but, you all know where to get fucking electrical tape, but, Captain tape, the silicon tape that I use, and things like that, and double-sided tape. So I'm going to go over and he wanted to know about my heat shrink as well, and so okay, fine. So I'm going to go over that stuff, just some consumable stuff that a lot of you builders are going to want to get if you're new to it, okay? First and foremost, we're going to go over Kapton tape. Woohoo! Okay, Kapton tape was originally designed by 3M. It's very, 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 very heat-proof, okay? They use this in space. They use this on spacesuits. They use this on... it's actually, in the electrical world, we use it for soldering over... If you have a really tight circuit board that's really... You don't want to get solder... Like, say you're doing a VTX03 and you're trying to solder stuff in here, you can put the tape along the edges so it doesn't get into other solder joints. I use it if I'm building a slammed frame, you know, like I have the boards against the frame or something like that. I will use Kapton tape instead of using electrical tape because it's much, much, much lighter. It's actually relatively strong. And look at that. It's very, very thin. It's thinner than Scotch tape. Very heat resistant. Good stuff. Get a roll of this about this wide, half-inch wide, whatever. I bought a pack the other day that came with a bunch of widths. Use it for 3D printing too, actually. I don't, but a lot of people do. So get a roll of this just to keep around. This is really, really advantageous stuff. The next thing we're going to go over, obviously, if you need electrical tape, call fucking Bardwell. He's probably got some gay-ass Signature Series electrical tape, which is really good. I do not use electrical tape on quads, ever, ever, ever. And somebody asked me, well, what's wrong with it? Really, guys, nothing's wrong with it. One, it just looks kind of hillbilly, and if you use it, that's fine, great. It's not a big deal. I use the silicone stretchy tape, which I have to go back in the house and get. Bam, be right back. And we're back. So the reason I don't like electrical tape, one, it's just kind of hobo. Number two, if it's on there for more than a few months, you know, when you take it off, it leaves goo around your wires. And if you get into a crash, one of the things that bothers me is electrical tape's relatively taut. And if something needs to flex or you need a little bit of movement in your wires so they don't break the solder traces, this tends to hold it down too tight for my taste. To give you an idea, this roll of electrical tape has been on my desk, my bench for like 2 years. I use electrical tape with other stuff, but, you know, whatever. The other thing about Kapton tape, I already put it away. See, that's what you get for putting shit away. For Kapton tape, I actually use Kapton tape for electrical tape on a quad, in the sense of, let's say I had to extend a wire or something like that. I will wrap Kapton tape around it because it isolates very, very well, and it's exceptionally light. Realistically, you know, yeah, you should probably use heat shrink. I don't. I use this. Okay, so instead of electrical tape for wiring and things like that, a lot of you guys know that I use this stuff. It's silicone tape, a silicone type of thing here. Let me grab a razor. And with this stuff, it's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. It's not super expensive. It's more than electrical tape, obviously, but there's no glue to it. All right, so you just open this up, take the plastic off, and then you stretch it. See, it's like a balloon. You stretch it around the arm of your quad, and then it sticks to itself. No glue. Look at that. Awesome shit. Okay. I love this stuff. I absolutely love it, because if you do need to have some give in there, it's like a rubber band. It's very similar to, think of it as an open-ended rubber band. What I'll do is I will usually cut it into strips about that long, 1/4 inch wide, and then I'll wrap it around the arm. Like, let's take the Proton that I never fly. The Proton, see right there how I got the tape around it? It's like a little rubber band. Freaking great. Love this stuff. Definitely get some of that. Have that on hand. My 3M, I'm sorry, Scotch double-sided tape. This shit's the bomb. They make 2 different variants. One's black, one's gray. I prefer the black just because it doesn't stand out as much as the gray, but you can actually get this at Lowe's. But I'm going to put links on to Amazon for all of this stuff, because it's just easier, you know. But yeah, good old-fashioned double-sided tape. I think it's 30 pounds per square inch. I mean, you could stick your kids to the fucking ceiling with this stuff. It's awesome. Love it. I have a spool of that in my flight bag. I have a spool of that on the bench and a spool of it in my fucking car. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. Let's see. Do we have anything else for tape? Kapton, silly tape, double-sided tape. I think that's about it. I've got this stuff too, which is interesting. You know that I'm not going to put a link to this because whatever. But you know that plastic that you put on your windows in the winter. You know, like if you had a really old house and your windows are really thin, so you put it's not cellophane, but that stretchy. Bardwell uses it for condoms, cuts it into really small pieces. Anyway, it's that heat shrink plastic. It comes with this stuff, and it's made by Duck for duct tape, and it's double-sided tape, but it's exceptionally thin. Very, very thin. And if you're putting this on windows, it's actually a complete pain in the ass. See how thin this is? It's like, woo! But it's really, really sticky. I have a couple rolls of this stuff, actually. It's just sitting here for... I made a 3D print engine mount for this FS90, and that's actually how I attached it. I designed this print for this engine. It's just... I'm using it for a paperweight, basically. And I put that tape on here, and it bonded the metal to the TPU pretty well. So, I wouldn't recommend necessarily having that for quad builds. The last thing for this is this stuff right here. This is my glue-based heat shrink tubing. It actually has an adhesive in there, and it's very, very neat in the sense it doesn't have outside printing on it. They use this in the marine world, you know, boats and things, because it's relatively watertight once it heats up. So, shit, I got too much junk. Here's an example. A Headhunter, this has that on there. And it's just pretty much so I could attach the wires in a nice clean way. I put the heat shrink on there, and that once you heat it up, that glue inside activates, and then it won't slide up and down. And then I use some black double-sided tape just to hold the wires to the bird. Bam! Color changing. Woohoo! Look at that. Very cool. Let's see. I think that's about it. Heat shrink, tape. Oh, yeah. And guys, in case you haven't figured it out yet, bam, get some of this. Conformal coat, best shit going, okay? Conformal coating is for making your electronics water resistant. Very, very good stuff. I will put links to all of that stuff that I use. Every single quad build that I do, I use the double-sided tape for VTXs for holding it on. Sometimes I use Captain tape for electrical tape on electrical stuff inside the bird. And I always use the stretchy silicone rubber stuff. Always, always, always. I probably wouldn't do a build if I didn't have that stuff. Sometimes I use heat shrink. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on my mood, depends on the build. So, there you go. Links in the bottom description to all that stuff. Another thing I want to say is a shout out to my brother Ryan Terry. And congratulations. He's a friend of mine. We talk on Google Hangouts. I can't remember what state you're in, bro. That's all good. But he is now he's on the freestyle team for Flynoceros, which is really cool. I like Flyno. Well, I like some of their stuff. Some of their stuff's, I think it's a little overpriced, but whatever. He's getting free stuff, so that's all good. And he sent me this frame. Is just hey, I got this frame, you want it? I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll turn that into something or give it to somebody that likes these things. And then he gave me this, I love my boys. They always send me stupid little random stuff. So he sends me this box, and I open it up. The first thing that falls out is this. Vodka, orange-flavored vodka. How fucking cool is that, right? And then, as long as it's not beer, I'll drink the shit. And then they have these little dopey stickers, which I love stickers. Yeah, just awesome stuff. So shout out to you, brother. Very, very cool. Yeah, very neat. So the other thing, I had a guy ask me a question. I've gotten on this kick when I got my 3D printer about 3D printing airplanes from 3D print labs, and they're absolutely just phenomenal engineering. You guys saw me assembling one not too long ago. Just the design's amazing, the prints are amazing, the price is amazing. And my buddy on YouTube asked me, he goes, do you think it's worth it to do this? And yes and no. Here's the yes, here's the no. One, it's very fun to do. It's a neat, I think it'd be a great winter project because the shit takes forever to print and it's fun to fuck around with, and you're building this bird from the ground up. You're gluing pieces together, you're doing all this neat stuff. But as far as flying them, I haven't flown one yet, and I'm hoping to have that done by this weekend as well. I'm building one of the Messerschmitts. I've got a bunch of the planes I ordered off them. You know, you order the designs, download them, and you tweak them out, and you put them on your printer. And I I set the wing. I had the whole fucking wing done. I set it on my car like a dumbass on the top of my car to just kind of dry out because I just glued everything together, and the cunt melted. I was like, really? I mean, because it's so thin. They have this printing down to a science. So I think I'd be very concerned about the crashing of an RC airplane that's 3D printed, which we will see. We're going to do a JJ hat cam on that one because it probably won't live past the first flight. If you fly it in really hot weather, bad things are going to happen. If you fly it in really cold weather, it's going to be brittle. So I think it's a spring and fall hobby, you know, as far as the 3D printed airplanes. Now, if you're printing them thicker, probably be okay. But these are like fucking paper thin, man. But it's great. But I've had a lot of people ask me about 3D printing, and I'm not going to do 3D printing on this on this channel. Hang on, I need a drink. Because it's way too involved. You almost have to have, not that it's that hard, but you do have to have kind of a dedicated slot for it, and I really don't. And I'm sure there's people out there that do a better job with it than I ever would as far as teaching people the 3D print stuff. So if you do get a 3D printer, which I do recommend you do, because you can buy one now for like the cost of a quad and just do that. But if you do buy one and you have questions, I'd be more than happy to help you with what I do know. And that way you can print crazy American flag canopies and design them. I put a skull on this one, and yeah, this is kind of my new canopy. I really love it. And then what else did I do? Oh, well, I've done a lot of stuff, but rocket shot glass. You got to have a rocket shot glass, right? That's kind of cool. And J-Bot in the intros. Remember, you know, the little guy that dances around? We printed a J-Bot. This was just a really quick, low resolution. It's not high quality by any stretch. I was just doing it as a test. My buddy Nate printed a big one, and it turned out really nice. I'm going to do one of those too. And I printed a Yoda. Then I print a ton of quad stuff and little things like that, which is why I bought it. To print unicorns and shit for my daughters and to print airplane and quad stuff. So yeah, very, very cool. Love the 3D printing thing. Here's a tip for you guys that are, you know, I have an older son who's 24, and a lot of you guys have older kids. You know, a lot of us are all the same age. If you're looking to get your high school kid into a technical field, such as mechanical engineering or drafting and mechanical design, graphic design, go out for fucking Christmas and buy them a 3D printer. I'm telling you right now, it has re-sparked me. I used to do a lot of design with SolidWorks and things like that back in the day for robot stuff I do with my career. And I kind of got away from it because I don't need to do it anymore. But it really re-inspired me to do this stuff again. And it's an absolute blast. It's reasonably cheap hobby. I mean, after the initial, you know, you spend $300 on a printer, $25 on a spool of goo. But realistically, I mean, there's a bunch of free stuff out there that you can download as far as software goes. And it really will pique your or your kids or both interests in 3D printing and design. It's very, very cool. Strongly recommend you get one. It's a great winter hobby. You know, the next quad you want to build, maybe hold off on it, buy a printer. You can do I print all sorts of stupid shit, and some of it's useful and some of it's just completely fucking gay, like little, you know, things like little miniatures of Bardwell and AMA, and just shoot them with your BB gun. Anyway, very, very cool. So that is it, I think, for the Roto Rant. There's a bunch of stuff coming up. I've got a Farview lap timer that we're going to test and overview, which, believe it or not, I'm seriously thinking about putting in the boat. And it works the same way, but I'm going to show you guys that. I think it's out here. I don't know where it's at. It's out here somewhere. Oop, there's a snort. Yeah. We've got that coming up. I'm going to show you as soon as I get the finish done on the JJ boat, which I think I'm going to call the Phoenix. The Nitro boat, we're going to, you know, the JJ's Chop Shop, we're going to do that. We've got the rifle airplane, which is done. I just haven't really showed you guys yet. And we got a bunch of other little projects coming up. And we have another Nitro plane that we're restoring from a buddy's dad of mine. We're going to be doing that. So yeah, good stuff coming up. Got a couple quad builds coming too. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole build. Whatever. So here comes the political part. I'm going to pause for 3 seconds or so. I'm going to have a vape, I'm going to have a drink, and all of you that don't want to talk about politics, this is where the rant's really going to begin, I'm sure. Tune out. Damn. While we're waiting on me tuning out, do not mix your Roto Twister with Sun-Kissed lemonade. That is the nastiest shit you will ever put in your mouth. Ugh, awful. Okay, so hang on. Good stuff. So, here we go. The rant. The real part of the rant. The politics part. I am exceptionally political. I mean, that is, to a lot of my close friends, not a surprise. I am exceptionally conservative right-wing, off the perch right-wing. Now, I don't think I'm an extremist. I don't. I've got friends that are extremists. Trust me when I say I look like a fucking hippie next to these guys. And, wow, just, yeah. But when it comes to fundamental moral things, I am definitely right-wing, as most of us know. I am pro-life. I am, less government. I am, just, if you own your own business and are bringing money into this country, you should be getting a break, blah, blah, blah. But there's so many things you can never win on. I have a friend who married a pinko, and that's what I call him affectionately, Democrat. He's as right as I am, and his wife is so fucking left. The water's always turning on. So, anyway, they've been married like 35 years. And I'm like, how the fuck do you stand being married to a lib that long? I've never met her, but he's a good friend of mine. He's like, we just don't talk politics. Okay, good. But it's one of those things you can never win. If you're dealing with a smart liberal, if there is such a thing, and you sit, and I've had these debates at bars and stuff like that, and I'm sitting here with a drink, he's sitting there with a drink, and we're boom, 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 we're bashing back and forth the fundamentals and principles of both parties. You can't win. It's just like abortion. You'll never win that. Even though I'm pro-life, I don't think abortion should be a presidential running seat. It's like this guy's pro-life, this guy's pro-choice, because you're never going to win. It's either going to be government reg, state reg, whatever. So there's certain things that are just gun control. Same fucking thing. I have my own theories on gun control. Anybody who's against guns, here's what you ask them. Say, if I put a loaded gun on your kitchen table, and then I start to go rape your kid right in front of you, do you pick up the gun and shoot me? If that person says no, they're a fucking psychopath and a heartless cunt, and they should be eliminated from the gene pool. That's how you prove to somebody. And I've done it with liberals, die-hard liberals, that just everybody wants the world to be fucking good in cradle school, and they're like, oh, they shouldn't have guns. Guns are bad. Okay, so if I'm writing in cursive and I make a mistake, is it the pencil's fault or is it my fault? It's my fault. If somebody shoots somebody with a gun, it's not the gun's fucking fault. It's the person's fault. And like I said, best example, you run into one of these people and they said, hey, I believe in gun control. Put a fucking loaded gun on their table. Go start fucking with one of their family members in a way that they would not be able to stop you, except with a gun, and say, would you pick up? And if they're an honest person, most of them will say, yes, I would pick up that gun and blow you away. And it's like, then you are not for gun control. But anyway, I digress. The biggest thing, the whole thing that started this, and I try not to get too political with the channel, but I started talking about the drone laws, the UAV laws, whatever you want to call them, quad laws, things that fly laws. Sorry. And people are chiming in, and most people are pretty supportive about it. We don't want to be overregulated. I mean, it's obvious. My big bitch, and after that, and I meant to do a video and I didn't, was I studied model rocketry after that video. Because I'm thinking these, I said it in the video, these big-ass model missile rocket things, these guys are launching in the air, and it's like, okay, well, how fucking high can they go? They can go as high as they fucking want. I think it said a ceiling of 15,000 feet. 15,000 feet? Are you fucking kidding me right now? We get 400, and those cock rockets get 15,000 feet? Nothing against model rocket guys. I think model rockets are fucking awesome. If my wife would let me have another hobby, I would probably do them. I used to launch those Estes rockets when I was a kid, but 15,000 feet, and some of these things, we're not talking little A-motor Estes Wasp rockets. We're talking, I can't believe I remembered that. We're talking about these big fucking 8 feet high, quadruple H engine, blah, blah, blah. Are you fucking kidding me right now? They have no limits. But anyway, I digress again. But that's where the political thing started, because we're talking about laws and this, that, whatever. So, and a lot of people are putting their comments on YouTube, which I love to read, good or bad. And this one cat from Australia And now, mind you, before I get into this, this is not my country versus your country, me versus you. It's not about that. I actually agree with the guy to a point. So this is not a bash at all against this person. He just brought up a good point, and I would like to discuss it. So I printed out what he said. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Blah, 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 blah. This other guy from Australia, I believe, I kind of got it cut off here, but he said, man, that print big enough? Jesus. Blah, 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 growing government. So anyway, this other cat, which is Fred F., and like I said, don't be bashing on Fred because he brings up a good point. Still, I'd rather live in Australia than the USA. Why? One word, Trump. And the rise of the rednecks in that country. JJ RotoGeek, you trying to tell us that the U.S. is going commie, yet you have the most crazed, unhinged, right-wing president there ever was in office. I can't say I disagree with that, really. Okay. Here are my thoughts on that. I've been to a lot of countries. I've been to Australia. I've been to Finland. I've been to Germany. I've been to the Netherlands. I've been to South America, a bunch of places, Brazil, Mexico, Canada, blah, 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 blah. And for work, all for work. And so I got to see how a lot of people live. And Australia's not bad. You know, they're pretty... Australia and Canada have a lot of parallels politically, which is fine. You know, I've got a lot of Canadian friends as well. And that chick that was running Australia... I mean, you can talk about Trump all you want, but that chick was fucking nuts. Anyhow, that's not the point. When Trump came in, I was pro-Trump, okay, no lie. Do I think he's great and has no issues? No. I think the dumbass needs to get off social media and stop pretending to be one of the boys, because he's fucking not. There is absolutely no place whatsoever, period, for a hierarchy leader to be twitting fucking anything. They should not have Instagram. They should not be using fucking YouTube. They should not be using any of that stuff. You might as well elect me into fucking office then. We'll put Southern Comfort in the fucking, the White House fountain, and we'll all have a good fucking time. It's stupid. That is bad. But when they were getting Trump in, one of the things for me was this country, my country, needs a businessman. We do not need a bleeding heart fucking leftist lib that wants to give free money to every fucking person that doesn't want to work and all this other crap. We need somebody economically to get this country back on the feet. Now, one of the things that a lot of people might be bitching about right now is RMRC and GetFPV sent out a notice to a lot of guys like me that, pay the mortgage on their place, that they're raising their prices because of overseas tariff shipping, which in part is because of Trump. But that's a good thing, because what that does is that stimulates growth within the country instead of... I mean, guys, look at the automotive industry in this country. The unions and all that bullshit. Everything went to Canada and fucking Mexico. In case you haven't noticed, Toronto is the new Detroit. Mexico, Metalsa, all these huge companies that I deal with are in Mexico. Because with the union labor... The union this, the union that, the union steel, the price of steel, everything went to shit. Everything went to Canada for steel making and Mexico for assembly because the labor was so cheap, because the companies, in their right, didn't want to pay $45 an hour for some guy to turn a fucking nut. And this is what brings you to the leftist viewpoint. It's like, well, everybody, JJ RotoGeek, if you make 120 grand a year, everybody should be able to make 120 grand a year, or whatever the case may be. That's true. Everybody can. Get your ass educated, not necessarily in college. I'm not pushing college. I'm not pushing any of that stuff, but get yourself educated in a trade or whatever the fuck it is that you need to do to make the 120 grand a year. But you should not be making 30 grand a year. I'm sorry. 60 grand a year to be flipping burgers at McDonald's. That is not a slight or a slam against people that work at McDonald's, by all means, but there is a level of hierarchy with career paths. There is. Where does that stop? And this is where liberals don't get it. And a lot of these libs are Canadians, a lot of them are American, a lot of them are Australian, whatever. It's like, well, fair this, fair that, fair that. This little fucking guy walking down the street doesn't know if he's a girl or a fucking boy. well, we need to make them their own bathroom. No, we fucking don't. I have 2 daughters. I'm sorry. If some boy pretends he's a fucking girl, I do not want him going into a girl's bathroom and checking. I just don't. That's fucking gay. If you cannot figure out what gender you are by birth, get out of the fucking gene pool. We don't need any neutrals. I'm sorry. The world is not cradle school. If we would have had this mentality in this country and the world, but especially in this country during World War II, we would be speaking fucking German right now, or Japanese, whichever the case may be. We would. It's like, well, we can't kill somebody. Oh my God. It's fucking war. Yes, you can. But again, my rant was this. Fred from Australia said, your country has the most right-winged fuckstick running it. I don't disagree with that. I'm really proud of that, because one more week of fucking Obama, I probably would have blown my own head off if he hadn't have banned ammunition. Obama, next to Hillary Clinton, one of the biggest Marxist psychopaths in the fucking world. It's not about race. You know, everybody says, oh, it's, you know, it's one of those leftist tricks. If you voted for Obama and you're white, you're probably racist because you're preferential treatment. You voted for him just because he's black. But if you didn't vote for him, you're racist because he's black. How do you fucking win that? For one thing, I didn't hear anybody say, except for people in my family, Obama's half white. Did you vote for that half white guy? No! Everybody said half black. It's the same. It's not about politics. The guy's just a I'm sorry, it's not about race. The guy's a fucking screwball. And Hillary Clinton's a bigger fucking screwball. So yeah, if I had to pick between Clinton and Trump, yeah, I'd be feeding Trump grapes with fucking Bardwell's skirt on. Hillary's a scary bitch, okay? But, Fred, you bring up a very good point. He is exceptionally right-wing, and I really don't think he's that great at politics, but he's very good at business. And that's what this country needs. It fucking needs it. Fuck the, happy, happy, joy, joy, hold your friend's hand, give a daisy and all that crap. We don't need that. We have enough of that shit. Oh my God. We got people that colleges have to have special places kids can go because somebody cursed at them. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Come to Camp Roto Geek for a week. We'll toughen your ass up. The other thing that Fred had mentioned was the rise of the rednecks, which I absolutely loved. But there's a lot of my friends are rednecks. But what is the differentiation of a redneck? I think most people think, outside this country, that a redneck is a right-wing freak, like the Timothy McVeighs of the world, or, the people that have a gun in every corner of their fucking house because the world's ending and, the government's out to get them. And, the jacked up trucks with the rebel flags. I think they think that's right wing in this country, and left wing is all the little perennial pussies, that's not the case. I think I'm going out on, I never consider myself a redneck because I'm not, but I think our country probably needs that. I really do. And I think Australia needs it too. Australia, the one thing that they have right that I know is America needs to adopt Australia's immigration laws. Try to get into that fucking country. Are you kidding me right now? America has the worst immigration next to Germany on the fucking face of the planet. Australia's got it going good, man. I mean, you got to cut off your left thumb and your right ear and, say you love Bardwell and they'll let you in. One of those things. So I give you guys props for that. But other than that, you guys live under tons of restrictions. Instantaneous, boom, 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 boom. Which is fine. Love your country. Be a patriot. That's what it's about. I love my country. I don't want it to go to the little cradle school pussy dogs that are saying, oh, I don't know what sex I am, or you make $100,000 a year. Why can't I? It's fuck you. Go make $100,000 a year. Do what you need to do. We need more rednecks, I think. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. We need more. If the right people carried guns, the bad guys wouldn't shoot you. I'm just saying. But anyway, Fred, I understand your point. Every country, every person, every Reich has their issues. That is a fact. Australia's definitely got theirs. America definitely has ours. We do. I mean, and it just like I said, I was raised in a very political household. So ever since I was in elementary school, I was watching, Reagan versus Mondale, and, my parents were just very political. So at a very early age, just from the 80s to now, I have seen such a huge downswing in brains in this country. And most of it's with the youth and the college group, and the college is teaching them. It really is. That's where it comes from. It's like, look at our workforce right now. There's more jobs than Carter's got fucking pills out there right now. But people are calling me to design robot systems for them because they can't get people to get off their asses and work. It's not that there's no jobs. It's people are fucking lazy. It's like, oh, I don't want to be a welder. Well, fucking, I know welders that make $40 an hour that are, you know, Marine certified or nuke certified, whatever. It's like, you can say what you want. But that fucker's probably making more money than you are. Truck drivers, same thing. Absolutely ridiculous. So that was a rant. Thank you, Fred, for pointing that out. Yes, Trump is a fucking freak, but he's a good businessman. I am all for him. At this point, I can't believe this country even survived Obama. That just blows my mind. And the fact that Hillary Clinton was coming was just absolutely terrifying. Y'all think we got bad laws now? Just wait. But we need to take responsibility and put it in the hands of the fucking people. You know what? If I'm walking through my neighbor's yard and I slip and break my ankle, that's my fucking fault, not my neighbor's fault. I shouldn't be suing him. Frivolous lawsuits, another fucking problem. Now, if I'm walking through his yard and something flies out of his window and hits me in the head and gives me a concussion, okay, that might be a little bit different. But if it's something I did, it's my fucking responsibility, not his. It's the same thing with all this shit. I rear-end somebody, I should be paying for their fucking car. If they hit me, they should be paying, you know, we need to cut the lawyers about 3/4 out of this fucking country. That's a good start. That and tell people, and just, I don't know, start training people, take responsibility for what you fucking do. Novel? That's how we used to be. Anyway, I've droned on long enough. See you later, kids. Keep shiny side up. Talk soon. Bye.